All right, so James Gunn shared a photo image of the completed Superman sequel script called Man of Tomorrow. And, I mean, he left us all speculating, right? We know that it's going to be a Lex Superman team up. We know that through some context clues of the picture he put out, that more than likely Brainiac is going to be the villain of this sequel. And I think that's a good villain. If that ends up being the route he goes, I think it's a great villain because you need someone big and powerful for to give reason to Lex and Superman teaming up for this sequel. Um, but honestly, it really kind of there wasn't a whole lot there past just the one picture talking about the script. And so, of course, us as fans, we're going a mile a minute, trying to be like, what does this mean? Can we figure it out? And I have a couple of thoughts here. So all of this is obviously without seeing the Supergirl movie. So there might be things in that movie that would lean to change my mind. But minor spoilers for Superman and for Peacemaker if you haven't seen either one of those yet. But obviously we know it's public information. This is going to be a Lex and Superman team up. And so again, you're going to need a big threat and a villain that will be able to lead to that kind of team up between two individuals. So if you haven't seen Peacemaker, this last episode of Peacemaker, the Lex was, the Rick Flag Sr. came to Lex while he was in prison to be able to get help to be able to track down Peacemaker and the door, the gateway that leads into the multiverse, right? And Lex, only thing he asked for in return was to be moved into a non-meta human prison. And I think that that's going to come into play here for the sequel. Like I really do. I don't think that that wasn't just an afterthought, right? Because you could have went and forced someone at LexCorp to tell you. I guess Luthor, was it LexCorp? I don't remember which one it was in the movie. But you could have went there and had someone tell you be able to how to find out this information. You brought Nicholas Hoult into this as a cameo, I think specifically for a reason, and I think that was to set up what is going to be the reason why Lex is in a position to help for the sequel. But then also Brainiac, I can't imagine what other character it would be other than Brainiac if with that cover of the human head and the anatomy and everything like that on that script. So it led me to think, okay, what kind of story would they be able to tell? And again, spoilers if you haven't seen Superman, but the big what the hell moment in Superman was when they decrypted the message from Jor-El saying I sent you to Earth to be a ruler. You're going to repopulate Krypton. You're going to rule over the humans, and you're going to be their god, right? And that obviously changed a lot into the. No, it didn't change a lot. There's been Superman stories that's had that out there, but from what most people are accustomed to when it comes to the Superman, backstory, that's something that they're not used to, right? Like he sent, Kal-El to Earth to be their savior and to help them and all that kind of stuff, not to be their ruler and their dictator, right? So I think that is going to play a pivotal part in what we're going to see in the second one. So here's my thoughts on what we're going to get out of this storyline, okay? So there's a few storylines in the comics that I think could come into play here, but there's one specifically where Brainiac is evolved as a Kryptonian AI. And I think that, within that storyline, that, he's almost like a supercomputer that has kind of archived and was created by the Kryptonians. And, kind of similar to what we have now with the way AI is going. But, he, similar to other AI storylines, he malfunctions and kind of evolves to conclude that, Krypton's destruction is ultimately inevitable. And that the only way to really save Krypton is to preserve the small amount of its culture. And then allow the rest of it to be destroyed. And I think that we're going to see that here. And I think that message from Jor-El, I think Brainiac is going to be the one and the reason that that message came out the way it did, because you saw like its glitchiness and everything, and was like, how could this be? And there was a lot of speculation. I think the message itself is real in regards to what like our human people know on how to be able to interpret an alien message, right? But I think that it's going to be altered by Brainiac, because I think Brainiac would ultimately want Superman, Kal-El, to be on Earth to help restore Krypton and to be the ruler of Earth and to repopulate and all that kind of stuff, right? So I think Brainiac is going to come down. The storylines in the comics, he comes down and reveals himself to Superman, and as a Kryptonian archive for the Fortress of Solitude and all that kind of stuff. And I think that ultimately, like, he's going to realize that Superman didn't come to the Earth with the intention that he wanted, and that was to be able to repopulate and save Krypton. So I think that's where you're going to have its struggles. I think Brainiac at its core is going to want to break down the Earth into its lowest properties and rebuild Krypton. And I think you're going to have Superman, who is obviously not going to want that to happen. And however the power scale you make Brainiac to be is obviously going to be enough that you're going to have Lex be able to help with this. So I think that's kind of the route they're going to go. For Brainiac, if that ends up being, like, to me, that seems like the most logical choice in regards to the story arc, if they're going to adapt a story. But yeah, I think that ultimately this movie, I think I see the breadcrumbs leading up to this Man of Steel sequel, excuse me, this Superman sequel, Man of Tomorrow. And I think it's going to be with Brainiac. And I think Brainiac is going to come to Earth to be able to restore Krypton to its former glory. And I think you're going to have Superman and Lex team up in order to stop that from happening. What I really want to see, though, is how they do Brainiac. Because you have several different types of Brainiacs in the comics. My favorite adaptation of Brainiac, though, is from the Injustice video game. Like, I think that Brainiac is super cool. Like, I think he is powerful. He's menacing. And it's almost like, honestly, really a mix of, like, Thanos and Tony Stark, right? Someone who is big and powerful and can do all this stuff like Thanos, but someone who is so smart and conniving. And I think that it's going to really set up to start this team up with Lex and Superman, because thinking about it, you're going to need someone. Lex is clearly the smartest person on the face of the earth in this universe. You're going to need someone with the intelligence of Lex Luthor, with the strength of Superman, in order to be able to fight this being of Brainiac. What I don't want is, I don't want this huge alien army coming in and like, I'm done with the army stuff, right? Like, I understand you got to have cannon fodder and you got to have, creatures to be able to die and be destroyed and all that kind of stuff. I get all that. But what I'm tired of is, like, the whole alien army, trend where, like, it's just like, here we go. Like, we got to have this big epic battle. So let us bring all of our creatures, whether it's I don't remember the names of the little demons from the Justice League movie. Or like, was it the Chitauri? Is that the name of it? From Avengers? But anyways, like, I'm just tired of all of that. Like, I want to see one villain that is just so brooding and powerful that he's going to be able to kick the ass of all of our heroes, and that's what I want to see out of Brainiac. And I'm hoping that, obviously, with the intelligent side of it, we're going to get a very complex storyline and something that's really cool, that's going to allow for Lex Luthor to really shine in this movie. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm going the route of Brainiac being a Kryptonian AI. I think that makes the most logical sense for the story, but maybe I'm missing something. Tell me in the comments, what do you think? Are you excited for the Man of Steel sequel? My God. Are you excited for the Man of Tomorrow sequel? And yeah, what do you think? What route are we going? Let me know in the comments.